Hello everyone, welcome to Blocking the Flame, Anakinra and COVID, a podcast where we explore the science behind inflammation, immunity, and how targeted therapies like Anakinra are helping us manage severe COVID-19 and long COVID more intelligently. I'm Gaganasri, your host, with interest in systems biology and computational approaches. Today, we are turning our spotlight on a key player in the immune orchestra, interleukin 1 or IL-1. Think of IL-1 as the fire alarm of the immune system. It blares loud and clear when there's danger. But what happens when that alarm doesn't turn off? Joining me to decode this molecular drama is Aseema Mishra, microbiology researcher. Aseema, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Gaganasri. I'm really excited to be here. And interleukin 1 is one of those molecules that's always been on my radar because it's powerful, it's dramatic, and when you study the host pathogen interactions, you realize just how pivotal it is.
Okay, so let's start from square one. What exactly is IL-1 and why is it central to inflammation?
Okay, great question. So, IL-1 isn't just a single molecule, I would say. It's a family of cytokines, which are small proteins used by immune cells to talk to each other. The two big names here are IL-1 alpha and IL-1 beta, and both are what we call pro-inflammatory cytokines. That means they rev up the immune system when it senses something is wrong, like a pathogen or tissue injury, say. Think of them as the emergency dispatchers of the immune response. They don't just raise the alarm, they coordinate where the troops should go and what kind of attack should happen and how intense it needs to be.
That's really such a vivid image. So when IL-1 starts ringing the alarm, what's happening downstream in the body?
Well, when IL-1 binds to its receptor called IL-1 receptor type 1 on neighboring cells, it activates a signaling cascade inside those cells. This triggers pathways like NF-kappa B, which is a master regulator of inflammation, and MAPK pathways that lead to the production of more cytokines, which are fever-inducing molecules and adhesion molecules that help the immune cells stick to blood vessels and reach the site of infection or the injury. The idea is to mount a fast and aggressive defense, but if it spirals out of control, the immune system can start damaging healthy tissue. So it's a double edged sword.
And that's where things start to get dangerous, right?
Yeah,
Especially in diseases like COVID-19.
exactly. Normally, the body winds down this response once the threat is neutralized. But in COVID-19, especially in severe cases, you see this cytokine storm, which is a massive uncontrolled release of pro inflammatory cytokines, including IL-1. This leads to lung damage, vascular leaks, blood clotting, and even in the worst cases, multi organ failure. So IL-1 goes from being a helpful coordinator to a runway conductor who is burning the orchestra down.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Now I want to zoom in on a particular thing, which is IL-1 beta, because it has this reputation for being tightly regulated, right?
Yeah.
It's not active right out of the gate, is it?
Right. So you can think of IL-1 beta like a missile that needs a launch code. It's initially produced as an inactive form that is pro IL-1 beta, and it only becomes active when it is cleaved by an enzyme called caspase 1. But caspase 1 also doesn't float around, it's activated inside this multi protein structure called inflammasome. And here's the cool part, the inflammasome acts like a threat detector. It senses danger associated molecular patterns, things like viral RNA or stress signals from damaged cells. Once it's activated, caspase 1 kicks into gear and activates the IL-1 beta.
So it's almost like a fingerprint locked weapon system.
Yeah,
You build the missile, but you don't arm it until you've got verified danger.
exactly. That's a really great analogy you said there. And that double check is vital because IL-1 beta is incredibly potent. If the inflammasome gets hyperactive, which happens in some genetic disorders or in response to certain viruses, then IL-1 beta gets released in excess. That's when the immune system tips into the pathological territory.
Okay. So before we wrap up, I want to step back from infection and ask, does IL-1 always act like a villain? Or are there situations where it's actually doing good?
Oh, that's a really important question. So, IL-1 isn't inherently bad. It has positive roles too. It helps with wound healing, stimulates bone remodeling, and plays a crucial role in the fever response as well, which actually helps limit pathogen replication. But in chronic diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and autoinflammatory syndromes, or even atherosclerosis, IL-1 contributes to sustained inflammation that causes tissue damage. It's all about balance. Too little, and the immune system is sluggish, and if it's too much, it becomes self destructive.
So the key is not to shut off IL-1 completely, but to dial it back when it starts hijacking the system.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what makes Anakinra so interesting. It's a recombinant version of the IL-1 receptor antagonist, which means it blocks IL-1 from binding to its receptor without shutting down the entire immune response. And it's a targeted strategy, which is a molecular break rather than a system wide shutdown.
Wow. Uh, that's the kind of precision we need when dealing with something as complex as COVID-19.
Yeah.
Aseema, this was such a clear and engaging walkthrough. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Gaganasri. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we build on this in the next episode.
Next time on Blocking the Flame, we'll dig into how IL-1 contributes to the cytokine storms we see in COVID-19 and why this pathway has become a hotspot for research and clinical interventions. Thanks for tuning in. This podcast is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. If you are experiencing health issues, please consult a qualified medical professional. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and keep exploring.